So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Jesse. This is my first episode of restoring the Corvette. and basically, this is a 1984 with the odometer says it's 112,000 miles roughly. It's in pretty rough shape. It's been sitting for, I want to say, about 3, maybe 5 years. Um, Little introduction about myself. I'm not a mechanic. I've done a little changes. I've grown up around cars. I'm not a certified mechanic. I'm just like one of you guys. A big old heart and a dream to restore my dream car, which this is what this is ever since I was little, I've always wanted a Corvette. A lot of people don't like the C4s, but they grow on me. I feel like what attracts people to other Corvettes and what this thing doesn't have attracts me to it. I love the 80s style. A lot of people don't like the 80s, but I love the 80s style. Um, they're not known for speed, but we could fix that later down the road. I wanted to film this episode sooner, but my everyday driver, my Mitsubishi, failed on me. I'll show you pictures of what happened with that. Essentially, the oil started looking really, really bad, and looks like water was getting into the oil. So the head gasket blew. Spent a lot of time and a lot of money getting that fixed. Uh, Still haven't quite gotten there yet, but I decided to hold on, do a little bit more research to get that going. But a good close friend of mine, his name's Brian, he sold me a Beetle, 2003 Beetle. Yeah, it's a Beetle, it's a little embarrassing, but it was something I could drive every day to work. So I could focus on the Corvette and not have to worry about my everyday car. So thanks to him, I'm able to get back on track to getting this Corvette up and running. So anyways, I'll give you a quick walk around of the car. It's got a 350 cubic inch. Um, this is probably one of the most iconic Chevy engines. 5.7 liter. This particular one is called the Crossfire injection. The reason why is because there's an injector right here that goes down into there and another injector. So it's two fuel injections, but it's kind of like a hybrid between fuel injection and carburetor. It was GM's first attempt of doing fuel injected. So they aren't known for their power. This thing probably makes about 200 horsepower, probably about 300 foot-pounds of torque, but we'll get that fixed eventually. It has really advanced suspension for the year. It's all four individual suspension. Show you over here. The carpet was in horrible condition. It's a lot of work. I gutted out the seats to try to make the carpet look a little bit better. I'm debating on probably doing new carpet because it is horrible. Messing with a little of the electricals here and there. It's going to need a new head unit because I really don't want to be trying to hook up my phone to something that is 30 years old, 40 years old. And on top of that, some new speakers. We're going to need all four new speakers. Right there and right there. But the main issue that's keeping this car from running is fuel. I had to drop the rear bumper, which the rear bumper is right here. This gas tank, we're trying to save it. Basically what happened was it rusted from the top. It wasn't making a good seal, and so all the water was going into the gas tank. So water and fuel were mixing because the fuel pump is right here. The fuel pump was bad, so I ended up replacing the fuel pump. But right now we're debating on whether to switch and get a new fuel tank or to try to save that one. I'm a little broke right now. I spent all my money on the Corvette, so we're going to try to save it until I have enough raised up to replace it. But we got a new fuel pump, so it is getting fuel up to the engine. We just need to get it figured out. The fuel filter, on the other hand, we got that replaced as it was right down there. So fuel's coming past the filter. We just need to test it to see if it's coming to the fuel injection system. So that's where we're at right now. I'll show you more progress on that later. But right now we need to get that fuel tank fixed and going. Well, I had to take off the whole rear bumper and drop this housing for the fuel tank just to get to the fuel tank. And it was filled with water. It was overflowing with water. So it doesn't look very pretty right now, but it's going to look amazing when we get there. I ended up buying one of these really nice books. So if you ever have a Corvette, they sell these shop manuals. This one's the 84 version. Tells you every single thing you need to know. So I highly recommend getting one of these books. Another one of the issues, which this is not a big issue, is the seat motor went out. And if you don't know, messing with seat motors is so difficult. So I ended up going to a junkyard and buying another one, and which I got a really good deal for. But we found out that the issue is actually this little switch. Water was getting into the switch, and all of this, if I can get to focus, got really corroded, and it just sticks, and it feels horrible. So I need to get one of these new switches. They're about $100 on eBay, and maybe I can finally get the powered seats to work, which that would be very nice. I had to take out all the seats just to clean up underneath of it. There was glass and a whole bunch of just dead mice and mouse nests. That's another reason why I took the glove compartment off the bread box, because there was a big mouse nest right there and in that vent. Now another main issue for this car is the speedometer. 1984, they had this all-electric dash cluster, which this is it right here. Has a whole bunch of ancient 84 computer in it, and the black thing kind of faded off. You're not supposed to be able to see it as clearly. It's supposed to look a lot like this one, but it's super dim and it's not registering anything. So I'm debating on whether replacing this whole system, but it's very hard to find. I think every C4 I've noticed has either had it replaced or is having issues or will have issues. So trying to fix it is going to be very difficult. So I'm debating on whether trying to take it apart and fix it. There is a website that I'm in contact with. I'll let you guys know about it later, how that goes, about giving me advice on fixing it, because I'm not the best with 80s circuitry. I'm really good with modern circuitry, but 80s is a little finicky. So that's going on with that. We also have to get all 4 new tires, because these tires are, there's plenty of meat left on them, but if you see, there is dry rot. And from what the code reads, the serial code, I believe this tire 2014, so almost 10 years old. You don't want to drive with dry rotted tires. Do not recommend doing that. That is how a lot of people get hurt. Alright, anyways, guys, this was my first video of the Corvette and where we are at. Please like and subscribe. This is a big passion project for me. This is my dream car, and I would really like to take you guys with me on this awesome build that I have planned for this car. I know it looks kind of crappy right now, but with time, I can show you guys that anyone can go out there and buy their dream car and um, fix it. I am a big fan of Chris Fix, and there's a YouTuber who restored a Pontiac Fiero. I think his name is Ronald or Roland. I can't remember for the life of me. Once I get over this camera fright, I'll be not as nervous. But forgive me, this is my first big project. And if you guys have any recommendations, any suggestions on what I should do, I'm all ears. I'm only human, so if I make any mistakes, please let me know. If you have any ideas on how to get something running, or even if you want to donate parts, say you have an old Corvette that you don't really drive anymore and you want to donate some parts, I would appreciate that. But I just want to take you guys with me on this journey of restoring a dream car of mine. Thank you guys, and you have such a good day.